Hey, music fans, welcome back to the show. Do you ever wonder how musicians actually make money?
Yeah, it's definitely not as simple as it seems.
Right. It's way more complex than just get famous and watch those royalties roll in.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've got this document simply titled Untitled Document, and it breaks down a ton of practical income streams for artists.
It's a lot to unpack.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah,
So with your help, I think we can hit the most surprising and useful bits.
sounds good to me.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's be real. The first thing that pops into everyone's head is streaming services, right?
Spotify,
Spotify, Apple Music,
Tidal.
Tidal, YouTube. They're all over this document.
hmm
But here's the catch. While they're essential for exposure, the payout per stream is tiny.
Yeah, you need millions upon millions of plays to make any serious bank from streaming alone.
Oh, absolutely.
It's more about building a loyal audience who will support you in other ways.
And the document highlights some really cool alternatives to just relying on those streaming pennies. Platforms like Bandcamp and BeatStars, or even selling directly from your own website.
Makes sense.
Offer higher quality downloads, exclusive content, maybe even some limited edition vinyl for the hardcore fans.
It gives artists more control over their pricing and how they interact with their fan base.
Yeah.
It's like building your own little music ecosystem.
Oh, I love that. Now, you can't talk about making money in music without talking about gigs.
Oh, for sure.
But our source emphasizes something that might surprise you.
Okay.
It all starts locally.
It's tempting to dream of headlining Coachella,
Ah,
but building a strong local following is crucial.
okay.
Think of it like this. Your first fans are like investors in your career.
Mm,
They'll be the ones spreading the word, coming to multiple shows. That kind of loyalty is gold.
I love that analogy.
Hmm.
And speaking of bigger stages, the document also mentions festivals.
Right.
And I know you've had some success with those. Any insider tips for getting booked?
Well, it's all about targeting the right festivals. You wouldn't send a death metal band to a folk festival.
Right, of course.
So do your research. Check out past lineups and make sure your music is a good fit. Then it's about having a killer submission,
Right.
a bio that hooks them, high-quality recordings, and a professional electronic press kit.
Makes sense.
But honestly, a standout live performance video is your secret weapon.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Mm,
Now, the world of gigs is changing too, with virtual concerts becoming more and more popular.
yeah,
We've got free options like Twitch, YouTube Live, Instagram Live.
absolutely.
Those are great for building a following and connecting with fans in real time.
Absolutely. They're essential for today's artist.
But what's really interesting are platforms like StageIt and Moment House,
Oh, yeah.
designed specifically for ticketed virtual shows.
That's cool.
It's a game changer.
Especially for artists who can't tour extensively or are just starting to build their reach.
Totally. Okay, so we've covered performing live in both the real and virtual worlds. But let's talk about something many artists might not fully understand.
Okay.
Royalties. Can you break it down simply?
You got it. Basically, there are two main types: performance royalties and mechanical royalties. Performance royalties come from your music being played on the radio, in stores, or at live events. Mechanical royalties come from each sale or stream of your music.
Okay, got it. And the document also mentions something called PROs.
Yeah.
What are those exactly?
PROs stand for Performing Rights Organizations.
Yeah.
Like ASCAP, BMI, or PRS. They're like your music's collection agency. They make sure you get paid those performance royalties when your songs get played out in the world.
Okay, that makes more sense. Now let's talk about something that really caught my eye in the document.
Okay, what's that?
Sync licensing.
Ooh.
This is where things get interesting, right?
Sync licensing is like hitting the jackpot if you get the right placement.
It's essentially getting your music featured in movies, TV shows, video games, commercials. You name it.
So
And the document even lists platforms like Songtrade and MusicBed that connect musicians with these opportunities.
having a diverse catalog of high-quality music that fits different moods and genres is key here.
Oh, for sure.
You never know what a music supervisor might be looking for.
Now, we've talked about earning from streams and performances, but the document also highlights ways fans can directly support artists.
That's really important.
Crowdfunding, for instance. Platforms like Patreon, Kickstarter, and GoFundMe can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, they are. A musician I know funded their entire album through Kickstarter
Wow.
by offering cool rewards to backers like signed CDs, private concerts, and even songwriting lessons.
That's fantastic. It shows the power of creative fan engagement. And for less structured support, the document mentions options like PayPal, Venmo, or even buy me a coffee.
It's all about giving your fans different ways to show their appreciation and contribute to your journey. Every bit counts.
Let's talk about something we all use.
Okay.
Social media. The document emphasizes that it's not just for likes and followers. It's a money-making tool, too.
Being social media savvy is practically a job requirement for musicians these days.
Oh, so true. The document breaks it down into some cool specifics. First up, the YouTube Partner Program.
Oh, yeah.
Once you hit certain criteria, you can monetize your YouTube channel
Do ads.
through ads, channel memberships,
Mhm.
and even those super chats that pop up during live streams.
That's a good way to make money.
And it's not just about music videos.
Right.
You can do behind-the-scenes content, tutorials, vlogs.
Uh-huh.
The document emphasizes variety to keep your audience engaged.
Speaking of variety, TikTok and Instagram are also huge for music discovery.
Yes.
Think brand partnerships, viral challenges that use your songs,
Oh, that's big.
and even the TikTok Creator Fund that pays you based on video views.
It's wild how these platforms have changed the music game. The document also mentions something called affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
Can you explain that one?
Affiliate marketing is like being a tastemaker. You promote products or services you genuinely love, and if someone buys through your unique link, you get a commission.
The document gives an example of a musician reviewing audio gear.
Makes sense.
They could include affiliate links to the products they recommend,
Right.
earning a little something if viewers make a purchase.
It's a way to monetize your knowledge and recommendations while providing value to your audience.
Now, this next point for the document might surprise some listeners.
Okay.
Getting paid to feature on other artists' tracks.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot of people think of collaboration as exposure, but it can be actual income.
Right, absolutely. As you build a reputation for your skills,
Uh-huh.
whether it's vocals, songwriting, or production, other artists might pay you to contribute to their music.
That's awesome. And beyond working with other musicians, the document talks about partnerships with brands and influencers.
That's a big one.
It's all about leveraging each other's audiences and expanding your reach.
Strategic collaboration is a win-win.
Okay, before we move on, I want to highlight something from the document that a lot of artists might overlook.
What's that? Grants.
Grants can be a lifesaver for funding projects that might not be commercially viable, but have artistic merit.
The document mentions organizations like the PRS Foundation in the UK and the NEA in the US. Any advice for artists applying for grants?
Do your research. Every grant has specific criteria and guidelines. Tailor your application to each one, showing how your project aligns with their mission and goals. A well-crafted application that demonstrates your passion and vision can make all the difference.
And while we're on the topic of opportunities, the document also mentions music competitions.
Competitions can be fantastic for gaining exposure, connecting with industry pros,
Yeah.
and maybe even snagging some prize money. Some even offer recording contracts or festival performance slots.
It's about putting yourself out there and taking advantage of the opportunities that come your way.
Definitely.
Now, the document goes beyond individual income streams and stresses something really important.
Treating your music like a business.
Yeah. So many artists get caught up in the creative side and neglect the business aspects. It's crucial for long-term success.
The document specifically mentions setting up a legal business structure, like a sole proprietorship or LLC.
It protects you legally, helps manage your taxes efficiently, and adds a layer of professionalism that can be attractive to collaborators and investors.
And just as important, the document highlights the need to track your earnings and expenses,
Right.
even suggesting helpful apps like QuickBooks and Wave.
It's not just about tax season. Tracking your finances helps you understand your profitability, identify areas for improvement, and make smart decisions about your music career.
All right, we've covered a ton of ground, but there's still more to explore.
Oh yeah, lots more.
Stay tuned as we unpack even more strategies for creating a sustainable and fulfilling music career.
Can't wait. It's amazing how many different avenues there are for musicians to explore these days.
Right? It's not your grandma's music industry anymore. Speaking of the long game, the document emphasizes something that's really at the heart of it all.
What's that?
Building genuine fan relationships.
Absolutely. It's about fostering a community around your music, not just seeing fans as customers.
Oh, I love that. So how can artists actually do that? What are some tangible ways to go beyond just posting on social media?
Well, engagement is key. Respond to comments and messages. Host live Q&A sessions.
Yeah.
Or even online meet and greets. Make your fans feel seen and heard.
The document also talks about consistently delivering quality music, which seems obvious,
Right.
but it's easy to lose sight of when you're caught up in the hustle.
It's about respecting your fans' time and showing them you're dedicated to your craft.
And it's not just about new releases,
Okay.
right? It's about creating content that keeps them engaged between albums or singles.
Exactly. Think behind the scenes peeks into your creative process.
Oh, cool.
Live performance videos, playlists of your current inspirations. Give them a glimpse into your world.
You're basically building a whole universe around your music.
Exactly. And as you build that trust and connection, your fans become more than just listeners.
Yeah.
They become your advocates. They'll be the ones spreading the word, coming to your shows, and supporting you on platforms like Patreon.
They become part of your team. And as you evolve as an artist, your business model might need to adapt too.
Ugh.
The document mentions staying informed about industry trends. Any advice on how to do that?
Well, attending workshops and conferences is great.
Okay.
But even joining online communities or forums can be super valuable.
Yeah.
You can connect with other musicians, industry professionals,
Yeah.
and get a feel for what's on the horizon.
So what are some trends artists should be paying attention to right now?
Well, short-form video content on platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels is huge.
Okay.
It's all about grabbing attention quickly and making those first few seconds count.
It's like the music video equivalent of a catchy hook.
Exactly. Artists need to think visually and adapt their music to these formats. And the document also mentions something that's still emerging but has huge potential.
With the
M3 and the metaverse.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of buzz about that, but it still seems pretty mysterious. Can you break it down?
Well, it's a whole new world for music creation, distribution, and fan engagement. We're talking virtual concerts,
Yeah.
NFT drops, even digital collectibles that fans can own and trade. It's evolving rapidly,
Right.
and those who embrace these technologies early on could have a real advantage.
So it's not just about the music itself. It's understanding the business side, the marketing, the tech. It's a lot to handle.
It can be overwhelming. That's why building a strong team is crucial.
The document talks about managers, booking agents, publicists. It takes a village, right?
It does. These people can help you navigate the complexities of the industry
Right.
and free up your time and energy to focus on what you do best.
Which is.
Making music.
But finding the right team can be tricky, especially when you're starting out. Any tips?
Networking is key. Attend industry events, connect with other artists, reach out to professionals you admire. It's about building relationships and finding people who believe in your vision.
And the document also stresses having a good legal team,
Oh, for sure.
especially as you start navigating contracts and licensing deals.
Protecting your intellectual property and ensuring you're getting fair compensation is essential. Don't be afraid to ask for help and advice from those who've been there before.
So it's not just about hitting record and hoping for the best.
Definitely not.
It's about approaching your music career with intention, strategy, and a willingness to learn and adapt.
And never lose sight of the passion that drives you. Music has the power to move people, inspire them, and bring them together. That's something worth fighting for.
Okay, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a thought. The document focuses on practical tips, which is great. But there's another element that I think is just as important and can't be taught.
Intrigued. Tell me more.
It's belief. Belief in yourself, in your music, and in your ability to achieve your dreams.
Oh, I love that. Belief is like an invisible force that can propel you forward.
When you truly believe in what you're doing, it radiates outward, it attracts the right people, opens doors, and creates a magnetic energy that draws people to you.
It's the fuel that keeps you going when the rejections pile up or self-doubt creeps in.
Exactly. So to everyone out there chasing those musical dreams, nurture that belief.
Hold on to it tightly and let it guide you towards your goals.
Because when you combine talent, hard work, and unwavering belief in yourself, anything is possible.
That's a perfect note to end on.
But wait, there's more. We still have some fascinating ground to cover in our final segment.
Don't touch that dial, folks. We'll be right back with more insights from our deep dive.
All right, welcome back to the show. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to touch on something the document brought up that really resonated with me.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
curious.
It's the idea of celebrating those small wins along the way.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in the big goals, the record deal, the sold-out tour, but those small victories, I think they're really what fuel the journey.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like those level ups in a video game.
Yeah.
Each one gets you closer to the final boss. But you got to celebrate those smaller achievements to stay motivated.
Exactly. Maybe you finally finished writing that song you've been stuck on.
Right.
Or you landed a gig at a new venue. Or you got your first 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are all wins worth acknowledging.
And they build momentum. Each small win gives you the confidence and energy to tackle the next challenge.
So true. Now, speaking of challenges, the document doesn't shy away from the fact that building a sustainable music career is tough.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. It takes grit, resilience, and a whole lot of hustle.
It really does.
Yeah.
But I think the document does a great job of highlighting the resources and strategies that are available to artists today.
I agree. I think it's really helpful.
It's not just about talent anymore. It's about being savvy, resourceful, and building a strong network.
And it's about being adaptable. The music industry is constantly evolving, and those who can roll with the punches and embrace new trends will have a serious advantage.
For sure. Like we were talking about earlier, with TikTok and the metaverse, those are just two examples of how things are changing rapidly.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to see how technology is shaping the future of music.
Absolutely. So what would you say is the biggest takeaway from this deep dive? If there's one thing our listeners should remember, what would it be?
That's a good question. I'd say it's that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to making money as a musician. What works for one artist might not work for another. It's about finding your own unique path, experimenting, and constantly learning and evolving.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Untitled Document. What a treasure trove of information. It's been so great having you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
To all our listeners out there, we hope you feel inspired and empowered to keep chasing those music dreams. Keep creating, keep hustling, and we'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.